Welcome to my May 12th video update. I love to learn new things, at least things that I'm interested in. I'm not so good when it's something I'm not terribly interested in. And I started getting into this video making because I was curious just how everything would work, how it could work. And I also had in my original idea to do stories of the lives of elderly people. And I based that desire to do that, or my idea for doing that, was really based on what a professor with whom I worked with at the University of Virginia did when he retired. He went to local retirement homes and would interview residents and gather pictures, and he made DVDs for them that they could share with their families. And I thought that was pretty cool. So that was my original idea. And then, so I started experimenting with the video capabilities of my cameras at the time, and have continued to do that. I found I really enjoyed working with video, with the lights, trying to figure that out, and audio, and trying to figure that out. And I felt that I'm starting to get kind of a handle on that, and so I figured I was ready to make some meaningful content, some videos with meaningful content. And I wasn't sure yet how to approach what the professor had done, what Harry had done. And so I knew I had I could do videos on information about the gadgets and equipment that I use, and I also could do videos on the whole process of making videos and what I was learning, what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, and I've done that. Then I realized, well, I can also do videos on the activities that I take my students through when I'm doing one-on-one training. So I did that. And as I just said, I think I'm starting to get a much better handle on it. But I came back to the idea of wanting to do stories, because stories really is what this whole thing is all about, what this whole thing for me and what video recording is about. You're telling a story about something, whether it's a video recorder, or an audio recorder, or an experience you had when you went to Venice, whatever it happens to be. And so I created the Video Stories series to give me a project through which I could practice making short videos that told a story. By doing that, I was getting closer to my original intent, which was to work with elderly people and let them tell their stories. Still haven't quite figured out exactly how I'm going to do that, but I've got some ideas, and I hope to pursue that. But it has been an interesting journey. That's how I started. I went through all these other things, and then I got back to the beginning. But as I said, storytelling really is at the heart of all these things. But it's very easy to get caught up in the gear and the technique of creating videos. And that's the topic of this week's resource. Peter McKinnon is a young videographer, videographer that I stumbled upon on YouTube, doing research on all this. I guess that's what you call it when you're watching YouTube videos to learn something, or when you're reading blogs and so on, research. Well, Peter McKinnon has, I'm going to link to one of his more recent episodes, and he talks about this very thing, how easy it is to get enamored with the gear and with all the accoutrements of making video. When in fact, if you just have an iPhone, as I'm using now, and as the whole idea with Mojo and video journalism, VJ, if you just have an iPhone and maybe a tripod, you can do storytelling with a video. Having all the other stuff, it just kind of makes it sometimes easier, sometimes harder, and maybe helps you produce better video. But the same techniques are going to be used no matter what equipment you're using. And so it's important to learn those techniques of storytelling, not just the techniques of video recording. And so I encourage you to take a look at Peter's channel. He's a quite enthusiastic young guy, and has some really cool stuff. So take a look at his stuff, and stick with me as I continue this journey, as I get closer to my goal of really doing some storytelling for real people besides myself, and coming back to my original goal of making DVDs or whatever medium I use to deliver them for other people. Thanks for checking in, and I'll see you next week in my next video update.